Welcome back to the channel, Valuable Coins HD, coin lovers and history buffs. You're watching the channel where we unlock the secrets behind everyday coins that might be hiding incredible value. And today, we're diving into a coin that many people overlook, a tiny piece of copper that could be worth an absolute fortune. Yes, we're talking about the 2009 Lincoln penny, a humble 1-cent coin that just might make you thousands of dollars richer. Now, before you dismiss this penny as pocket change, let me tell you, this isn't just any ordinary coin. It has a fascinating backstory, incredible design variations, and some very rare versions that collectors are desperately trying to find. Stick around, because what looks like just another Lincoln cent could actually be worth more than a brand new car. Let's take a moment to go back in time. The year 2009 marked the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and to celebrate this monumental occasion, the U.S. Mint released 4 different reverse designs on the penny, each representing a major chapter in Lincoln's life. These coins weren't just meant for spending, they were crafted to honor the legacy of one of America's most influential presidents. Each design tells a story. The first design, known as Birth and Early Childhood in Kentucky, features a log cabin, representing Lincoln's humble beginnings. The second design, Formative Years in Indiana, shows a young Lincoln taking a break from rail splitting to read a book, symbolizing his thirst for knowledge. The third one is Professional Life in Illinois, depicting Lincoln standing in front of the state capitol as a young lawyer. And finally, the fourth design, Presidency in Washington, D.C., shows the partially constructed U.S. Capitol dome, signifying a nation in progress under Lincoln's leadership. But here's where it gets exciting. Not all 2009 Lincoln pennies are created equal. While millions were made, certain mint marks, those tiny letters under the year indicating where the coin was struck, play a huge role in determining rarity. The 3 mint locations were Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, marked with AD, and San Francisco, marked with an S. Some special editions were made only for collectors and never entered general circulation. Now, most of these coins were struck in copper-plated zinc, but some special collector versions, particularly proof coins and errors, were made using 95% copper, the same composition as pennies made before 1982. These higher-quality coins came in mint sets, and if kept untouched in original condition, their value can be significantly higher, but what really gets collectors excited are the error coins. Some 2009 pennies were minted with dramatic flaws, double dies, off-center strikes, and other production mistakes that slipped past quality control. These aren't just mistakes, they're treasures in the world of numismatics. Coins with these rare features can sell for hundreds, even thousands of dollars, depending on their condition. Also, the state of preservation is everything. A 2009 Lincoln penny that has never been circulated, still shining with that brilliant red finish, and graded highly by a professional service can skyrocket in value. Especially if it's from a rare mint or has an unusual error. Coin grading agencies like PCGS and NGC have confirmed that some of these coins, when found in mint condition with unique attributes, can fetch incredible prices at auction. So next time you find yourself digging through old coin jars, drawers, or inherited collections, take a second look at any 2009 pennies you come across. Especially the ones with a visible mint mark or an unusual design. It might just be your lucky day, and now, the moment you've been waiting for. If you happen to have a rare 2009 Lincoln penny with a mint mark, in uncirculated condition or with a special minting error, it could be worth as much as $40,000. That's right, $40,000 for a single penny. That tiny coin in your hand might just be a hidden jackpot. So be sure to examine your change carefully, check those old piggy banks, and never underestimate the power of a penny. Today, we're taking a closer look at a small copper coin that could be worth big money, the United States 1-cent Lincoln penny from the year 1966. It's a year you may not think twice about, until now. You might be holding on to a coin that could turn your fortune around. Now, let's set the stage. The year was 1966. The United States was in the midst of cultural transformation, the civil rights movement was making strides, the Vietnam War was escalating, and music was shifting with the rise of new voices. And right in the middle of all that, the U.S. Mint was producing the humble penny, specifically, the Lincoln cent that so many of us know and recognize today. But what most people don't realize is that the 1966 penny has a story of its own, a story that just might make you a lot richer than you'd expect. So why would a coin that was mass-produced in the millions be valuable? Well, let's start with the design. On the obverse, or front, is the iconic bust of President Abraham Lincoln. This design by Victor David Brenner has been in use since 1909, celebrating the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. By 1966, the design remained mostly unchanged, but the historical value only grew stronger. Turn the coin over to the reverse, and you'll see the Lincoln Memorial. This back design was first introduced in 1959 to mark Lincoln's 150th birthday and continued for decades after. While it might look familiar and ordinary at a glance, this little piece of metal hides a few secrets that collectors are always hunting for. One of the most unique things about the 1966 penny is that it doesn't have a mint mark. That's right, while today we're used to seeing small letters like D for Denver or S for San Francisco beneath the year, in 1966, the U.S. Mint temporarily removed mint marks from all coins. This was done to discourage collectors from hoarding coins from specific mints, especially after the coin shortage crisis of the early 1960s. So all 1966 Lincoln pennies appear without a mint mark, even those struck in Denver and San Francisco. This historical detail alone makes the 1966 penny stand out, but there's even more to the story. While millions were struck, only a tiny fraction survive today in pristine, uncirculated condition. Over time, most coins get scratched, worn down, or tarnished from everyday use. But those few rare pieces that have been kept in original condition, untouched for decades, are now becoming highly valuable. Even more exciting, some 1966 pennies contain rare minting errors that make them extremely desirable to collectors. These can include things like double dies, where the design appears double due to a mistake during the striking process. There are also off-center strikes, die cracks, and other unusual anomalies that turn ordinary coins into one-of-a-kind collectibles, and when a coin is both historically significant and rare in perfect condition, its value skyrockets. That's where professional grading comes in. If your 1966 Lincoln penny has been graded by a service like PCGS or NGC and has a high grade, especially MS65 or higher, it could be worth much more than its face value. These grading services evaluate everything from luster and strike quality to surface marks and overall eye appeal. Imagine stumbling across a 1966 penny in your change jar or an old coin album that looks brand new. It might be easy to overlook, but if it's got the right details, the right condition, and possibly even an error, it's a coin that can fetch serious money at auctions or through private collectors. So the next time you see a 1966 penny without a mint mark, don't toss it aside. Take a closer look. Examine the surface. Check for doubling or other odd features. And if it looks untouched, consider having it professionally graded, because now, the part you've been waiting for, if you're lucky enough to own a rare 1966 Lincoln penny in mint state condition, especially with a valuable error or unique strike, then congratulations. That little coin in your hand could be worth as much as $47,000, yes, you heard that right, $47,000 for a single copper penny. So go check your coin collections, ask your grandparents, or dig through your piggy bank. That 1966 penny could be far more valuable than you ever imagined. Today's journey takes us back to the early 1970s, a time of change and transformation in America, and we're spotlighting a coin that millions of people handle daily, but few ever thought twice about, the 1971 Lincoln penny. Now, you might be thinking, what could possibly make an old penny from 1971 special? Well, this humble 1-cent coin carries more history, mystery, and potential value than meets the eye. In fact, some versions of this very coin have been known to sell for jaw-dropping amounts, and if you happen to have one sitting in your collection or change jar, you might just be holding a hidden treasure. Let's start by traveling back to the year 1971. It was a decade defined by major cultural shifts: the Vietnam War, space exploration, the rise of disco music, and the early days of personal computing. Amidst all this, the United States Mint continued producing the nation's most iconic coin, the Lincoln cent, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The 1971 penny carries the familiar portrait of President Lincoln on the front, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design so timeless that it's still used today. On the reverse, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. This design not only honors one of America's most respected leaders but also, if you look closely, even features a tiny image of the Lincoln statue inside the memorial, making it one of the only U.S. coins to depict the same person on both sides. But here's where things get really interesting: the mint mark. In 1971, Lincoln pennies were produced in 3 different U.S. mint facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Denver pennies are marked with a small d, and the San Francisco mint used an S, both located just under the year. But Philadelphia coins? Those don't have a mint mark at all. Now, most 1971 pennies were made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, just like their earlier counterparts. However, it's not just about the composition, it's about the condition and the rarity of certain variations that make all the difference. Here's what collectors are hunting for: Lincoln pennies from 1971 that were struck off-center, show doubling of the design elements, or have die breaks and other unusual minting flaws. One of the most famous and valuable varieties is the 1971 double die obverse, DDO. In these error coins, you can see clear doubling in the date, the word liberty, and even in God we trust. These kinds of minting mistakes occurred when the die that strikes the coin had a misalignment during the engraving process, and they are extremely rare. Add to that the fact that coins in mint state condition, untouched by circulation and with original luster, are few and far between. Most 1971 pennies were used every day for decades. They bought candy, paid tolls, and sat in pockets, purses, and drawers. As a result, they became scratched, worn, and tarnished. But those that were preserved carefully, never circulated, never touched by human hands, are in a class of their own. Grading services like PCGS and NGC professionally assess these coins, giving them ratings based on their condition. A 1971 penny with a high grade, especially MS 65 or higher, can instantly turn an ordinary-looking coin into a highly desirable collector's item. And if that penny also has a dramatic doubling error or other rare feature? That's when things really start to get exciting. Some proof versions of the 1971 penny were struck at the San Francisco Mint and intended solely for collectors. These proof coins have an incredible shine and sharp details, and while they were never meant for circulation, some have found their way into general hands, increasing their value due to rarity. So, the next time you're sorting through an old coin jar, take a second look at any 1971 pennies you find. Check for a mint mark. Look closely for doubling. Examine the surface for signs of wear, or better yet, lack of wear. You could be holding more than just a penny, you might be holding something truly valuable. Now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. If you happen to come across a 1971 Lincoln penny with a visible mint error, in uncirculated condition, or one that's been professionally graded with a top-tier rating, then your coin could be worth a life-changing $57,000, yes, $57,000. For a single, 1-cent coin that you might have thought was just spare change. So, don't underestimate that old copper penny. It might just be the most valuable thing in your wallet. If you enjoyed this video and want to discover more hidden treasures hiding in your pocket change, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another incredible find. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy hunting and happy collecting.